I'll start this by saying the main part of this is in my story, and I don't know all the details, but I'll tell it with as much detail as I can remember. My dad, younger sister, older brother, and stepmom all moved to a new house in a neighborhood that's known for being pretty bad. At first, I had gone with them because I was tired of living with my extremely Christian grandmother who didn't accept me because at that point, I knew I wasn't straight. When we all got there and I walked in the door, I immediately hated it. I can't say for sure if it was something I felt or the fact that I just missed my room because I was still pretty young, but I started bawling and begging to go home. All I know is I never felt a terror like that since I moved back in with my grandmother after that, but the rest of my family stayed. Here's where things get a lot creepier. A few months or so after my family settled, and after experiencing the occasional falling, moved objects or strange noises in the night, they decided to all sit and watch a movie together. We've always been super into horror movies, except for my brother who hates them to this day. So they chose the movie The Woman in Black to watch together. They all got together, and somewhere during the movie, one of my siblings heard noises coming from the kitchen. So I think one of my siblings went to check, though I don't remember which one, and they came back and told my dad, who told everyone to stay out of the kitchen. I don't know if my sister saw it or if someone told her what had happened, but this is what she said. I should preface this by saying there wasn't anyone else in the house or any sign of someone breaking in, and even if someone did, it doesn't make sense why or how they will do something like this without taking anything or being caught. My sister told me that when they went to see what was going on, that the basket that moved earlier was now upside down, holding open the refrigerator door, and there were a few other objects stacked on top. But the weirdest part of all was that on the very top of the stack was a spoon, and it wasn't just sitting there, it was balanced perfectly on its side. I mean, like on the thin edge, just on top of everything. I don't even know anyone who has the kind of talent to balance something like that in almost an instant. After that, my dad brought out a Bible and read scriptures while burning some sage. I don't know if it worked or not, but my family didn't tell me anything else about that house after that. It might sound weird, but I think I did know something was there. After just being in that house one time, I've always felt like I can feel things that nobody else can, and sometimes even see them because nobody else really felt anything weird before. All of this happened. Nobody but me. I'm just glad I didn't stay there to experience that myself. This story is true because I experienced some of these things, and so did some other people. However, it could have gotten a little twisted as the years went by. So I'm currently 18, and I experienced some odd things in a house when I was about in 3rd grade. Some things I remember vividly, but only the weirdest stuff. So growing up, I was usually close with my cousins and stuff like that, and they would always keep moving houses, but this time would be different. So they moved in and didn't think much of it, just like the rest of the family, and it even came with a piano. But a couple of weeks later, weird things started to happen. I remember vividly we all went over there, 'cause my uncle was having a cookout. Everything was normal until it was nighttime. We were all downstairs eating cake and drinking coke and stuff like that, and all of a sudden, we hear one of the piano keys being tapped, and my uncles and aunts didn't think much of it, so they ignored it, thinking it was one of us kids. But my aunt realized we were all in there in the kitchen, and the piano playing kept getting louder and louder. My uncle goes to see what it is, and he comes back and says there's nothing there. And at this point, everyone is like, "What the hell?" But they brushed it off. Nothing happened for a couple of weeks, and one weekend, I decided to spend the night, so it was about 8 p.m. during the winter time, so it's dark outside. And we were watching Honey and I Shrunk the Kids, and all of a sudden the lights went out for like 3 minutes, and they came back on, but they kept flickering on, and my uncle came downstairs because he thought we were messing with the lights, but when he saw we were in the living room, he was confused at this point. That's when I realized this house was weird ASAP. Since I spent the night, I would sleep on the floor in my cousin's room. So that night, we stayed up till like 12 a.m. thinking we were cool. He would sleep with the door closed, so I didn't think too much of what was happening in the house. We said goodnight to each other, and he went to sleep, but I've always had trouble falling asleep fast. He was out cold, but I was still up. Eventually, I started to doze off, but I woke up because I heard out the door like someone was walking around up and down the stairs. Eventually, my cousin woke up along with my uncle, and the walking stopped. My uncle checked on us, and he asked us why we were walking up and down, and he was kinda mad, but we told him we weren't, and again, he was surprised. They eventually moved out, and that was that. But like last year, I found out more stuff from my uncle. That one time, he was home alone, and he also heard people walking around. My family is religious, and they noticed they would watch scary movies like The Grudge and stuff like that. And they said, since they were watching things like that, they were bringing invisible things into the house. And if you live in North Carolina, then you've heard of Gravity Hill. You can look it up to get information about it. But one night, it was me, my boyfriend, and 3 of his cousins, and we thought it would be fun to drive out to Gravity Hill and test it for ourselves. Something did, in fact, push us up the hill. Cody's car was in neutral, but something pushed us up that hill, and as we get to the top, Cody asked us if we want to go to the house. I asked what it was, and all 4 of them said in sync that I had to see it for myself. We drove to the house, and as we got to it, it's this very old abandoned white house, I'd say. It was maybe built in the late 40s, early 50s, but nobody lived in it for years. I asked him to pull it into the driveway, and he did. We sat there for a minute. I wanted to see if anything would happen because I didn't believe them. We sat in the driveway for 3 minutes at most, and when Cotty said, "I'm about ready to leave, but about y'all?" As soon as he said that, his headlights dimmed so much we thought they went out. I saw someone in the upstairs window, only for a second, but someone or something was standing there watching us. It scared me so much it brought tears to my eyes, and I was shaking. We sped off and didn't look back. I still remember the feeling of all my energy leaving my body, and I never want to experience something like that ever again.